Welcome back to the show. My name is Johnny Hughes. The latest investigation by Fact Check Ghana revealed that Wagner Group infiltration in Ghana's western region. 5 Ghanaian ringleaders currently in police custody are to reappear in Takoradi High Court. Some 5 ringleaders have been picked up. The details, which have been captured in an investigative piece by Fact Check Ghana, reveals that the infiltration into the country and crowdfunding, among others, is aimed at building support for the controversial group. And we are concerned about it on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7, which is why we put together a very interesting panel to have a conversation about it. Nana Jetwa is a producer of the Connect FM show, the morning show on Manbapa, hosted by Kwesi Simpson in the Western region, Connect 97.1 FM, our sister station. And he joins us on Zoom in a bit to give us a first-hand information as to what exactly happened, how these people were arrested, and what the latest has been. Nana, good morning. Macho, what's then? Nana? Good morning. Hello, Nana, can you hear me? We have to work the lines again, please. And you can always join us also with your thoughts and comments on the show. We're live on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram as well at 3news.com. If you go onto our website, you can always get a chance to watch and listen in live on 3FM 92.7. You in December 2022, you know that during the visit of the U.S. President Akufo-Addo, the U.S. Vice President, I should say, President Akufo-Addo, Burkina Faso, of entering an unholy alliance with Wagner Group, where he claimed that the mercenary group was offering a security support for the Burkinabe junta to fight off Islamists. In return of that, the Wagner receives payment in the form of mine concessions. But the Ghanaian leader has used other international platforms to amplify his claim. That's President Akufo-Addo. Now, investigations point to alleged infiltration of Wagner into the country. A series of social media platforms, Facebook, Telegram channels with large followings that publish pro-Russian propaganda. So on the 13th of August, the group marched in Takoradi. That's what we are told. 3 persons believed to be the ringleaders have been arrested and charged for treason, among others. Suspects are to reappear in court on October 3. Nana Jetwa is the producer of 3FM sister station Connect FM as morning show in the Western region, Oman Bapa, on Connect 97.1. Nana, good morning. Mwachi on Oteden. Yes, na I mean, I do any skills kakra ni Now, what are we hearing? Wagner and matters are rising. Are you able to confirm first if the arrests have been made and whether or not they have been put in the cooler to reappear on October 3?
Yes, that is right. Yesterday I was in the community. I actually spoke to some of the suspects, some of the guys who were arrested. What happened was that the young guys, they actually brothers, Michael Asiedu and then Ernest Asiedu, they are brothers. And the other one is Evans. Michael Asiedu is 23 and then Asiedu is 26. Evans is 25. So they are the leaders of the group. What we've been told is that they are Michael Asiedu and his brother. They are members of the community. Their parents live in the community. They were born in the community. That is, they have been situated in the Takoradi metropolis of the Western region. That is where they are based. Their parents are there. But the last one, that is Evans. He is from the central region. So he came purposely for the demonstration. Mm-hmm. So what happened was that they hired speakers, they hired spinners, they hired a tent and everything. So they went to the community chief and told him they wanted a park for their program, and they are organizing a food fair for widows. So they needed the park for that purpose. So the park was handed over to them. They erected their tent and they started their program. So the spinners came around and they brought their machines for them. So as they were in the process of having the program, they gave us speeches. They played anthems of Mali, anthems of Russia, France, and they were showing flags of those countries. And they were chanting freedom, freedom, and a lot of things. They were also wearing T-shirts with inscriptions Wagner PMC or something. That is what they were having, and they were holding the flag, running around the community. So they also brought in some students, some final year students of Japanese Senior High School. There's a secondary school in the community.
Right.
They brought some senior high school students from there to be part of them. So we are told from members of the community that in all they were over 15, including the leaders. So after they were having the protest, the police came around and then arrested them. They took them to the station. They arraigned them before court. They've been to court 3 times. The last court appearance was Tuesday, and then they've been asked to come around again. They've been granted bail. So as I speak with you now, they are still members of the community. But one aspect is that these guys are unemployed. They are young people who are unemployed.
Right.
But then members of the community tell us that they all of a sudden they started seeing changes in their lifestyle. They started showing vehicles. They started coming around with cars. They started showing account balance with huge sums of money in them and all that. So they were wondering what was happening. They realized that with the kind of things they were hiring for the protest, they are guys who cannot afford a normal day because they are not working.
Right.
And they do not have that kind of money to be doing all those things. So they were wondering. But then nobody was telling. One of the guys who was arrested, the spinners, they arrested one of them together. They arrested 2 of the spinners together with the 3 leaders of the group. He said he told me when they got to the police station, he asked them why were they doing that, and they told him that they have financiers from Australia. So the financier has told them to do that, to do the demonstration, take videos, and send the videos back to him in Australia, and then he will bring them more money so that they can recruit more boys to be part of the group. So the guy was saying that he was looking at them and he was shocked because he did not know why they were having their private thing, they were having their crime, they are doing all these kind of things, and then they will add him to their activities. So he was kind of angry. But as I speak to you now, they've all been granted bail. They are in the community. Members of the community are not happy at all. They are very angry at the young guys.
That they have
They
been
believe
granted
the young
bail
guys are taking them into something that they are not prepared for. So they are not happy at all. So that is what is happening.
Great. So the members of the community are not happy that they got involved in this, or they think that they are endangering their lives. What is it?
Yes, they think that the guys are endangering their lives. They think that the guys have not been truthful to them. They think that they are young people, and then if they have motive, they shouldn't even involve the community, and they shouldn't even involve their children.
Right.
They shouldn't even involve them in that kind of act. And even if they have that kind of motive, they could have even easily informed them that this is our motive, this is what we are doing. But they also, at a point, if you speak to some of the opinion leaders, they also believe maybe the boys do not know what they are doing. Maybe they think they've gotten money. Somebody has sent them money, and then the person has asked them to do a demonstration for them. They are organizing their demonstration, so they do not actually know what it means Because one of the guy who was arrested, he told me when they got to the police station, the police commander showed them videos, and then social media chat and a lot of transactions that the guys have received, and he was shocked to see that kind of transactions going through the guy's account. So that kind of chat the guys were having with the outsiders. So he was kind of shocked, and that has gotten the whole community a bit shaken because they believe these guys have really endangered their lives.
I see. Well, let me welcome Mr. Emmanuel Kutin. He is a security analyst. Kutin, thank you for your time. Good morning. How are you doing?
Johnny, good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning to your cherished listeners.
The President of the Republic has had cause to sound this alarm over and over again. Is what the President feared happening?
Johnny, thank you. I think, in my candid opinion, what the President did when he met the U.S. Secretary of State was a diplomatic convention that he broke, reporting a fellow African country to our Western allies. You know, America is one of our biggest Western allies in the fight against terrorism. That is quite different. So the President was reporting the leadership, the military junta of dealing with the Wagner Group. What we are talking about now, and listening to the narration of your reporter, it is a business enterprise or a criminal business enterprise gone wrong. And you can see that the young men didn't even know what they were doing. If you look at the scheme of things, indeed, if these boys were preparing to join a group like the Wagner Group, I'm not sure they would do it in the open like they are doing. I suspect that there is somebody somewhere, like the reporter mentioned, in Australia, trying to catch in on the conditions happening in many African countries. And you see that he said he needed videos. What did he need a video for? Probably to send it to his benefactor as to the the groupings he's been able to put together for that set purpose. But however, Johnny, our police as an institution, when it comes to investigation, they are always in a hurry to arrest. And that is so unprofessional. If it were another jurisdiction, Johnny, they would have placed intelligence around to get the full complement of the enterprise. Now, you have just eliminated the small fish in the entire chain, and the bigger fishes are somewhere. So if this happens, they will go into hiding and then appear in a different form. That's when these things of this nature, when it happens, we are very careful and we do thorough investigations such that we can eliminate the entire people involved in the enterprise. And see, we are fit to arrest and to court. What charges are you going to use against these people? Are you able to sustain that? Are you going to charge them under the Terrorism Act, or you want to charge them for the fact that they are showing symptoms of belonging to the Wagner Group? As far as I'm concerned, this country have not declared the Wagner Group as a terrorist organization, and association with Wagner Group would lead to certain prosecution. I think if indeed, as a country, we view Wagner as a terrorist organization, we should declare Wagner as such, like the United States and other developed countries have done. And when you declare such an organization like as a terrorist group, you then educate the citizens that punitive actions will be taken if you dare take part in their activity. Under such circumstances, I'm sure the later regulations will be put in place. And when you go against him, you can be dealt with under the propagation of that law. And Johnny, this is another angle we have to look at. What is the foreign policy stand of Ghana? Non-alliance, is that not?
That's right.
We don't align to both sides. We are in this country, people who profess to support the Western ideals openly talk about it. People who support the communist ideals, they openly talk about it, and they have never been arrested. So I think the Ghana police have not done this country any good, and merely arresting these people and putting them in cells and taking them to court will not stop this group to inoculate, if indeed that was the purpose of the group. Listen to your reporter.
Right. Let me bring in Rabiu at this time. Rabiu Alassan is managing director of the Ghana Fact. The Ghana Fact is a project of the Fact Space West African IFCN verified fact checking organization. Rabiu, thank you very much for your time. Good morning. How are you doing? Hello, Rabiu. Good morning. How are you? We will have to work the phone lines again and get Rabiu one more time. But Nana, so come in for me. You've been listening to Mr. Cotton. He seems to raise certain concerns, not too excited about the actions of the police, particularly regarding the sustenance of these charges. He seems to be sounding like the community people. But what else is there? What do we know beyond the police, beyond the community people? For example, what are the chiefs talking about?
Yeah, so yesterday I spoke to one of the chiefs, and he was saying that he believes they've released the guys too early. He thinks maybe the guys have connections where the police could have traced them back to them, so that if they have a lot of people around, they could arrest them, because these guys were showing money, these guys were showing luxurious lifestyle, and then they did not understand in the community. And they feel that since these guys are still around the community, moving around, it kind of poses some form of danger to the rest of the young people around. It is easier for the others to get close to them and ask them how they were able to make the money. And it is easier for the other guys to even get them into their rank, if there is any. So that is the worry of some of the community leaders. One of the chiefs we spoke to, I spoke to yesterday. He was very, very, very concerned about the presence of the guys back in the community. He believes it will cause some form of danger to the other guys. But I think the police also do not maybe have any form of strong evidence to continue holding them back in the cell. So they will have to release them back in the community. These guys are not working actually. They are unemployed. One of them is actually learning a trade. He is into security doors. But the two others, the other one who came from Cape Coast, nobody knows what he does. They said he came to rent a house in the community recently, and then he formed alliance with the two brothers. The other brother, he's not working. He's unemployed. And where they had their demonstration, this is very close, few meters away from the secondary school. So they were engaging the final year students who are currently writing their WASI. So that is the fear of the leaders of the community. They believe the young boys can easily get influence from the boys who have been released back into the community.
I see. Let's connect now with Rabiu Alassan. He is the managing editor of Ghana Fact. Rabiu, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny. How are you doing?
Well, I'm greater than Accra. Your latest investigation by Fact Check Ghana revealed that Wagner Group infiltration into Ghana's western region. 5 Ghanaian ringleaders have been arrested. They've been granted bail. But should we be worried? That's the question on the minds of many Ghanaians.
This question, I would hesitate to run commentary on our investigations and leave that to Kutin and the other security analysts. But I would want to highlight some of the issues that we found and we continue to do in terms of our fact-checking work and efforts to tackle misinformation and disinformation, not just in Ghana, but across the West African sub-region. So we, as a fact-checking organization, on August 14, was a normal day in the office, just going online to see whether we can identify claims that have been made that need verification. And we chanced on a post that said some people had been arrested because they had organized a protest in Diabene, in Takrade, a protest in support of Wagner and in support of Russia. And that kind of pricked our curiosity, and we went online to do a bit more digging. And just a bit more digging led us to videos of protest rallies sort of in Diabene, in Takrade. And you could see a number of young people holding placards with all sorts of inscriptions on it, and also kind of chanting and throwing their support behind the Wagner group. Some of them also in Wagner t-shirts. So we dug further, and interestingly and quite surprisingly, we found a Telegram channel with all sorts of people, with more than 60,000 persons in that channel. And it looked like the Telegram channel was focused on advancing the Wagner interest, not just in Ghana, but across a number of West African countries, and also across a number of countries also around the world. But we were paying particular attention to what was happening in Ghana. And in that channel, we were able to kind of map out the modus operandi of the group in the channel, and also the administrator, who seemed to be the key figure pulling the strings and helping in crowdfunding or helping in raising funds for their activities in country. We also saw how some Ghanaians had been brought into their fold and were being involved in their activities. And on August 5, on August 10, and I think on August 12, they organized online events in the form of podcast and radio discussions, and allowed the key Ghanaian persons to phone in and tell them how they were going about running the operations of the group, this Telegram channel, and also the pro-Wagner, pro-Russia activities in Ghana. So this is something that is playing out, and people would have to pay attention to it. Especially the security agencies would have to wake up to it, develop the necessary skills to map out disinformation campaigns, and as well, media organizations, traditional media organizations should also have skilled persons in their newsrooms to be able to identify these disinformation campaigns, because more and more we are seeing these things online and they are trickling into newsrooms through astroturfing, a process where they try to game the algorithms of the social media companies and allow things to trend. And because traditional newsrooms like radio and TV sometimes have social media trends, segments in their programming, it allows them to go online and report about things that are trending. And by doing so, they amplify disinformation campaigns online and sometimes misinformation. So these are the things we've monitored. And if you go into the report we published, you could see a trend where they managed to raise money, send them through Western Union, have receipts with Wagner on it, purchasing about 1,000 t-shirts with Wagner inscriptions on them. And I think in the videos and pictures, you can see the young people wearing them. And you can as well see that some of the materials that were used for the demonstration were sent directly to the Russian embassy, that relayed or released those flags to the protesters.
Right. Okay.
Even though, as part of our monitoring, we understand the Russian embassy said they didn't want to have anything to do with the protest. But at least, from all indications, the flags were sent directly. They were bought online and sent to the Russian embassy, and they released it to the protesters. So it is interesting what is unraveling, and I understand the police, after our report, would be addressing the press at 10 a.m. So we would be keeping a keen eye on what would be happening, and hopefully get a more complete picture following the investigations that would be done by the police.
Thank you, Rabiu. Rabiu Alassan is the managing editor of Ghana Facts. Ghana Facts is a project of the Fact Space West Africa and IFCN verified fact-checking organization. We're grateful for your time this morning. Thank you. Mr. Kutin, let me bring you in. You had Rabiu and giving us some more detail. Even though Ghana is non-aligned, you find items, as Rabiu has said, being brought in through the Russian embassy here and for onward distribution to the protesters. That is loud enough, is it not?
Well, listening to Rabiu, if what he's saying is what is actually on the ground, it's quite frightening. But you see, Johnny, the Wagner Group, we need to be very careful about the process. Is it the case that in this country, it is a crime to demonstrate in support of a process you believe in? And don't forget, Russia has an embassy here in Ghana, and from the narration, it looks like there's a communication between the embassy and these innocent young people for crying out loud who are unemployed and has to survive. And the issues of governance and creating ungovernable spaces. See, the police have done this country a lot of this service by the approach they took. Why are you quick to arrest? Given the graveness of the other concerns that my good brother Rabiu raised, these are people you shouldn't even release back into the community. So if the case was that arrest and release, why don't you leave it entirely and do the full process of the interview to get evidence that you can sustain in court in their prosecution? And this is a problem, Johnny. What is the terrorism implementation plan this country has to fight terrorism? You recall when the national security came out with a strategy, I think it was a 5-year strategic plan. It didn't go far enough. And even that 5-year strategic plan, I've not seen anywhere it has been properly implemented within our security architecture. If indeed this terrorism strategy and implementation plan was fit for purpose, I don't see this lying under the ambit of the police to even arrest these people. At least it should have been the work of national security or the NIB. So you see, if you look at our police as an institution, they only have Accra, the headquarters, as their center in countering violent extremism or counter-terrorism across the country. So you see the bureaucratic nature of our institution. How do you deploy such strategy? You recall some time ago, I think about 4 years ago, I called for regional counter-terrorism centers because the phenomenon was growing behind it. And the dangerous aspect of it is that all these things are happening behind the authorities that are supposed to be on the ground and pick that signal.
I see.
So we are not sitting well, Johnny. However, I don't think that all is lost. But what I think about this case is that we need to learn going forward, and issues of this nature, we shouldn't be necessarily the police involved. But having a kind of special unit at the national security or the NIB against some of these things. Look at our miners at Johnny. It's so sad. You send your journalists around. It's littered with foreigners. these Nigerians, or if you like, our brothers from the ECOWAS subgroup. And if you look at how terrorism starts, that is the way it starts. They will need a financial muscle. They will need the psychological working on such communities. And because already we are having a youth bulge and unemployment and the dire economic activities, you see that our impressionable youth will be very susceptible to some of these trappings. And that is what we are seeing.
Great.
In the
Emmanuel Kutin, thank you very much for your time. We're grateful.
Free FM Sunrise.
William.
Well,